when I wrote this book so long ago, in the late 80s, early 90s, Beverly Hills was the next stop for me when I moved to Los Angeles. I was living in the Crenshaw area, and I would always visit Beverly Hills, and I always wanted to live, play, and be of that kind of genre. So that's why I named the book Next Stop Beverly Hills, because that was my next stop. I wanted to mix real with fake news, as we're calling it in 2019, but it's a good read, and I had to protect myself as well as protecting other people. But some of the stars that I mentioned in the book I did meet, like Bernie Casey, maybe rest in peace, Bill Cosby. It was interesting because when I met Bill Cosby with Bob Lucas, who's actually in the book, who was the editor of Ebony magazine, we were in Las Vegas. And we were there seeing him and Diana Ross. And basically what Bill said when we went to his dressing room was, I gotta go, but don't steal anything. But I did call my mother from his dressing room and say, Mama, guess where I am. So it's a lot of what happened with me and a lot of what happened with other people, and a lot of it is just my imagination. You know, it's so interesting because the first book that I read from cover to cover was Jackie Collins' Hollywood Wives. And it's like a reality TV show that she did first. And I think the book is for anyone that wants to just fantasize, for the lonely woman who just wants to take a good book and nestle down and see herself in the characters, or younger people that have no idea what happened back then. So do I think that an 18-year-old person is going to read it? No. Do I think the title will make a person stop and say, well, I wonder what this is? Yes. I was inspired when I was chased out of California by Joan Collins. I was inspired to write this book literally after my mother died. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I met a man who's in the book as well. He gave me my first computer. He allowed me to use his office, and I had a young lady that I would dictate to. She's dead now, and her name escapes me. And we would go into the office on a laser printer. That's how long ago this was. And I would dictate the book to her, and she would write it. So writing this book, Next Stop Beverly Hills, was just a way for me not to jump in front of that bus. I read Malcolm X. I read Joan Collins, all of her stuff. James Baldwin, Booby Heard. I read his book, Howard Street, back in the day. I was always fascinated with action-packed. If I can die and come back again, I would be an attorney. I hate homelessness. I hate the fact that people are being mistreated. You know, I want to be a beacon and a light to someone that doesn't have as much as I have. So that's my cause. Donald Trump was the first man to give me my job at his casino in Atlantic City. I used to admire Donald Trump, believe it or not. I bought his book, The Art of the Deal. I stood in line, had him to sign it. I said to him, Mr. Trump, my name is Pucci Amanda Jhones and I'm a singer and I would like to perform in Atlantic City. He gave me a number. He told me to call that number. I called that number the following day. Of course, I didn't think the person was gonna take my call. And of course they didn't the first day. The second day, this person called me back. And it's like, oh my God. So I named Donald Trump One Touch Power. And I worked in Atlantic City, and then I worked in Las Vegas. But now I just think he's an idiotic person that he's dividing the country. Performing on stage and hearing this. I love as a jazz musician, and I perform more than I do act. I just love getting dressed up. I'm of the school of Diana Ross. The first show, I can give you RuPaul, and the second show, I can give you Patti LaBelle. I love changing clothes, and I love seeing and hearing the audience reaction when I'm singing and making them feel good. That motivates them to put their two hands together and make that sound that's called clapping. I think Amanda St. George learned a lesson, and the main character, that sometimes the person that's knocking on your door who loves you, you need to open that door and take a look at it. But I think love, and this is the cliche, love does conquer all. Love does. So I think in the book, Amani St. George, she's the one that learns the biggest lesson of them all. Read it, have fun, go out and live life. That's the message.